Alright, this is Resident Evil Daylight Hero Guide. So, heroes spawn in one of three locations. Jill starts in this building here, Brad starts in this building here, and Carlos starts at this side street here. There are weapon boxes all around the map that you can find, and they unlock one of a series of weapons. You have the minigun, the riot gun, the grenade launcher, assault rifle, sniper rifle, re-equip your original, and then the help button on how to use the weapon selection. Any weapon you equip will equip directly to your hero. You will see no visual difference on the unit, but if you look at their actual weapon on the unit, that indicates their damage and the various properties that we've coded in through EUD. You will see that change every time you change your weapon equip. Now, the spots for the weapon packs are the minigun, located to the side street between the plant store and the motel. There is the assault rifle, which is located in the smaller park below the main undead park. There is the grenade launcher, located to the top right of the RPD near Carlos's start position. There is the riot gun, which is located on the middle right of the map near the grocery store. And then the sniper rifle is actually located down in the sewer, which you can see in this little side area here. Most good undeads are going to block the choke here, so probably not a good idea to send your hero in by themselves. Now, as heroes, civilians spawn all around the map in multiple locations. There are quite a few. You can see this: E8, E20, E3, E12, E10, and you'll find these all around the map. Civilians spawn constantly. They will not spawn if you have a unit camping inside the location. You can be right outside the location, but you can't be in it. Once you move into the location with any unit, not just your hero, the civilian will convert to your control, and you can arm it in a few different locations. The RPD has two, depending on whether you want a SWAT firebat or a Marine. The gun shop will turn them into a basic ghost, and if the RPD has captured City Hall, you can get SWAT firebats here as well. Additionally, if the RPD has captured the hospital, you can get them turned into medics, which is very valuable, but is almost certainly going to be in late game. As heroes, your primary goals are to assist the RPD in defending various points or putting pressure where you can. A good hero is worth at least 100 regular men, especially if you can micro and use your different weapon selections effectively. There are a couple of little things that heroes in particular can do. One of these is for Carlos at the radio relay can spawn a number of units, including a couple of UBCS APCs, the tanks, which are extremely useful. Getting those early and keeping them alive throughout the game and using them to cause massive amounts of damage from afar is extremely useful. They can help with sieging external undead locations, which is a major benefit that the heroes can provide, helping the RPD and UBCS take out the external undead spawns. Really, really, really important. The less that the undead are spawning, the easier it is for you to have an impact, because the less numbers they have to work with, the more impactful the higher player count on the living side tends to be. A couple things that as a hero I normally try to do is I will try to keep the undead from getting a drone to Graveyard. Graveyard is the hardest spawn for undead to take and to hold, because it's literally right in the RPD's backyard and has a UBCS mini spawn right next to it. But keeping them from getting Graveyard is a great way to keep them from getting their bonus spawns, which they get if they control all possible areas. That does require them to also take Labs, but Lab is pretty constantly under threat, especially in higher tier games. So having a good amount of fortification at Graveyard, a few RPD squad cars, some units behind there, whatever you can spare to keep a drone out of this area is extremely helpful. Beyond that, helping trap undead heroes and get them killed to put the living ahead is another great benefit for heroes, another great thing that they can do. Really, you need to be a lot more surgical than a faction because you're using a much smaller player count. And although I've seen some hero players who like to discount building an army entirely, that's never a good thing to do, because you're so much stronger with those added units under your control, whether you have them running with your hero to help from getting surrounded, which is one of your major threats, or using them to help enhance assault forces from the RPD or UBCS. I want to touch on, again, not getting surrounded, because this is huge, especially at start of game. Most good park players are going to run Nemesis right out of the park and over to Jill or Brad's spawn to try to, at the very least, snipe their medics, if not kill all of their starting units. And really, you need to be careful of that. A really good undead can trap you very early on. You never want to put yourself in a position where you have a flank up against any wall tile, because it's just going to make it that much easier to surround you. Especially when you're going in buildings. This is actually a reason not to use your hero to capture civilians. When you're in a building, you are in an extremely vulnerable position because all it takes is blocking those entrance tiles and you're completely out of options. Your hero should be used to put pressure, but also kept in a measure of safety. And maintaining that balance is extremely critical to playing a hero slot effectively. These are the main things you need to know when playing a hero slot, and I hope that that helps you get a little bit of a better idea of how to play.